Unstoppable Women 2025 is officially happening. And if you are a woman in business who's ready to grow, stretch, and get in the room with other ambitious women, this is your event. It's a full day high energy experience happening on Friday, the 29th of August in Brisbane at the Brisbane Convention and Entertainment Centre. And it's for the women who are tired of doing it alone, are ready for real strategy, real conversations, and real momentum. This isn't your average get inspired and take notes kind of day. It's not a boring sit down conference. We're talking powerful speakers, curated connections, breakthrough moments, high energy performances that will stay with you long after the day is done. If you've been craving connection, clarity, next level strategy in a room full of women who really get it, you're going to want to be there. Click the link in the show notes and pop your name on the notify me list so you can be first in the know when the next allocation of tickets go on sale. These tickets won't be available forever. The way our ticket system works is that you will get an email and those tickets will go on sale for a short period of time and then they will close. Once they close, the price will go up for the next allocation to then open weeks later. So please don't snooze on this. Please don't wait. Make sure that if you're on the notify list, that as soon as you get that email, you jump straight in and grab your ticket. Otherwise, you'll miss out and be super disappointed. All right, go put your name on the notify me list and let's get into today's episode. Welcome to 5 Minutes of Momentum. These episodes are a short 5-minute burst of inspiration, motivation, and massive action. If you need that little kick up the butt to get things moving and to inspire you to take massive action, then every single Thursday I'll be sending you through a 5-minute episode to download, digest, and implement to finish your week off strong. Are you ready to get started? Let's go. Welcome back to the podcast. Today I want to talk to you about how I became the CEO my business needed. And there's a few different elements that I want to speak to in this episode, from our energy, how we perceive our business, how we perceive ourselves in our business, and how I feel like I have really worked to become an embodied CEO within my business, because the energy is just as important as the strategy. And I'm sure you've heard this before, where we can often talk about in the personal development world that hitting your goals is literally 80% mindset and 20% strategy. And same thing with business. Success in business is 20% strategy, because it is important. Obviously, you need to know what you need to do, but the mindset piece is everything. And when it comes to scaling your business and stepping into the CEO role, and this is where like even just the perception or the concept around being the CEO of your business can come with a lot of negative connotations, a lot of attachments with your mindset of what you believe around being a business owner and your role within that business and how you started your business and the reasons why you started your business. And so I want to talk to you all about this. This week, I'm actually kicking off the book tour, which I'm super excited for. I cannot wait to be in the rooms with people and hug them and sign their books and give them a copy of my book. Like, I'm so excited for that to happen. I feel like when I envisioned my book coming to life and I envisioned launching it and getting it out to the world, the book launch parties were always in my mind of like what that would be like and how fun it would be to be talking about this body of work that I've been working on for so long. So kicking off in Brisbane, which is exactly where I wanted to start it off, because obviously it's where I started my business and it's where I have the biggest part of my community. And I'm so excited to be celebrating with so many clients and family and friends, which is going to be so fun. And then I'll be heading down to Melbourne and I'll be doing a book launch party in Melbourne in the CBD, and then heading down to my hometown where I originally grew up, down in Warragul. One of my best friends has a bookstore, and so she's going to be hosting me there at a local venue, which I'm also super excited for, because apparently there's a really beautiful business community down there. And so I've had a whole bunch of people book tickets for that I don't know. So I'm super excited to be meeting new people for this too. So super exciting. And then eventually I do want to get to doing a book tour in Sydney and then maybe Perth. I don't know. I'm going to wait and see. But I also need to do the recording for the audiobook. So it is coming on Audible. That just won't be for probably the middle of June. So that's what I'm aiming for. And then also this week, I'm actually kicking off the Embodied CEO Week. So this is why I wanted to do an episode about this, because I want to talk to you about the Embodied CEO Week, because I decided to run this it's not a challenge, but it is just an intentional focus around becoming the CEO that you want to be for your business. And I'm running it inside a broadcast channel on Instagram. So it's not going to be like a sign up thing, a masterclass webinar, nothing like that. It's literally going to be inside a broadcast channel. So if you go to my profile on Instagram, you'll see on the profile, it says Embodied CEO. If you click that, you can click across to the channel and then you can hit join. So you can join the channel, and every day I'm going to jump in there and drop a video or a voice note with an intentional focus for you, that it's going to be a blend of strategy, a blend of mindset, and blend of energy work in order for you to be able to step in to become that embodied CEO. And it's very much for those women in business that are in that messy middle. So if you're in that messy middle that you're wanting to transition from one-to-one clients to one-to-many, and you're wanting to scale your business, but you're really in that messy piece where it's like you're evolving as a human, you're evolving as a leader in your business, and you're becoming that CEO, and you're also being challenged by all the things that come along with scaling. So if that feels like that's you, then come and join me in the Embodied CEO channel. All right, so I want to talk first about the perception of the word CEO or the term CEO. I like to play on the words with this because, yes, the traditional way or meaning of CEO is Chief Executive Officer. I like to think of it like the Chief Energy Officer, the Chief Execution Officer, which means not executing other people. I mean, you are the person that has to execute on the things in order for your business to grow. And you are the manager of the energy because you bring the vision. And so you really want to think about how you're tapping into that vision, how you're creating that vision for the long-term goals of the business, and then what energy you're bringing to the business, because that makes the biggest difference to the way that you execute on your goals, but also the way that you influence people. Because as a leader, because you are absolutely a leader. And this first perception shift really needs to come from how you perceive yourself in the business and also how you perceive the business. So when I think about the term CEO, it is an elevation up from business owner or freelancer or solopreneur or entrepreneur, right? So when I think about it from the perspective of CEO, I'm perceiving my business as a company. So what I mean by that is that I'm separating it from myself, because I think sometimes, or I know a lot of the times, one of the biggest challenges business owners have is motivation. And you are the one wearing all the hats and doing all the things, and you're the one that has to motivate yourself and get inspired by your vision and keep taking action towards it, which can be super exhausting. And so the way that I like to think of it is like, if I separated myself from the business and I saw my business as a separate entity, as a company, and then I saw myself as the one leading the ship, right? How can I perceive my company as a separate company and also perceive how the services of that company serve an outcome, serve a result, and those services serve an incredible client? And what does the company need in order for it to thrive? And then I think, what type of CEO does the company need? So it's helping me step outside of my own shoes, because one of the biggest things when it comes to motivation is we rely too much on our feelings to motivate us. So it's like, well, when I feel like I'll do it. But when it comes to creating empires, it comes to creating incredible companies, when you go and interview incredible women that are doing this, right? So I was chatting to a friend of mine recently, and she has created multiple empires. She also teaches people how to create their own empires. And she's going to be a speaker at my Unstoppable Women event. I was talking to her the other day, and she was saying how the amount of things that she does in her business that she doesn't feel like doing is phenomenal, right? She's like, some of the shit that I have to do does not come naturally. It's not something that I am like, oh, I'm so excited to do this. No, it's going to be stretchy. It's going to be uncomfortable, but I'm still taking the action no matter what, because it's what my business requires of me. Now, when I talk about this, I think it's one of the things that I want to highlight here is that when you're doing it from an embodied place, it's not a push or doing something that you don't want to do all the time. It's just recognizing that your business is going to require a different version of you as you start to grow and scale, because you've gotten comfortable to a certain extent. And so I honestly feel like it's this connection to our emotions, because when we let our emotions drive us too much, we can sometimes become a slave to our emotions. And so then we're not building any form of discipline in other areas of our lives. And we're waiting to feel ready or waiting to feel confident, waiting to feel motivated. And that is not always where results are created. And so there has to be times where you're challenging yourself, where you're like, you know what, I don't want to do that today, but I have to fucking do it. And I'm going to do it. And I'm going to challenge myself. I'm going to be proud of myself for when I do it. And that conversation is going to be uncomfortable, or that email is going to be uncomfortable, or that conversation over here when I'm asking for this thing is going to be really uncomfortable and stretchy, or I'm going to be putting myself out there more, or whatever it might be. That's that next level version of yourself, and stepping into that next level version of yourself is not going to feel comfortable. So if we're waiting for our emotions and we're looking to our emotions to feel ready or comfortable, we're honestly going to only keep creating the results we've got. So what is the vision of where you want to go first and foremost, and who is the CEO required in order to achieve that vision? Now, sometimes just that one question can be confronting and can challenge us to be like, oh my God, am I that person? Or it could be a self-reflection to be like, well, I haven't really been being that person. And so what I want you to do when you do that reflection is please do that with curiosity and compassion. Don't do it with judgment. The judgment is not going to help you. It's not going to serve you. It's not going to serve your company. We're going to look at it from a place of compassion and curiosity to be like, okay, now I can see my gaps. Now I can see where I give in to my emotions when this happens, or now I can see this self-sabotaging behavior, or now I can see like, hey, I actually really do need to be much clearer on the direction of where I want to go, and I really need to set clearer goals, and I really need to challenge myself to build that discipline and that habit to do those scary things, even when I'm scared. And that's honestly sometimes the biggest wake-up call that can change the trajectory of your business forever. Like, I feel like it's that every single 3 months I'm doing that. I'm having that hard conversation with myself to be like, yeah, I'm not burning myself out, like constantly coming back to it. I think that's why I'm trying to find this embodied piece of balance where I feel like I have conversations with clients and I have conversations with other people, and the conversation that always keeps coming back to me is like, it seems like you're doing so many things all the time. And I'm like, yeah, because I've got big goals and I've got shit to do. And I'm the one driving the ship, right? So yes, I have a team, but it's a very small team and it still requires my direction. It still requires me to be the face of that business and to continue to show up. I'm not sitting in my office going, oh, do I feel like getting on stories today? Oh, do I feel like sending that email? No, I'm sitting there going, that has to happen today. So I'm going to move through whatever the uncomfortable feelings are in order to get that done, right? And so we need to start looking at, okay, who is the CEO your business requires? And then the way that I even look at it is break down like the steps of the role that CEO is. Because even having that reflection, you may realize that, oh, I actually don't want to be that person, and that's okay too. And then you may need to go, okay, so for me to still achieve my goals, who do I need on my team to support me to get there? Who do I need on my team that might be a gun at this part of the business that I don't want to do? And that's okay. So having that radical honesty with yourself really allows you to gain that clarity to make the right decisions for your business, because you are the one that makes the biggest decisions in your business, and you have to make the right ones for yourself. So this is not about creating a CEO role of like, you know, if the CEO term even challenges you because in your mind it goes straight to like this old white dude in an ivory tower telling people what to do, then that's firstly, we need to start there. We need to create an image or a vision of this person that you want to become. Because when I see CEO, I see badass, fucking unapologetic woman that is going after her dreams and is building out this incredible company and has a team that supports her, and she's going for it. That's who I see when I think about a CEO. So who do you see when you think about a CEO? So firstly, we touched on is the vision, right? We need to get really clear on the vision and who you need to become in order to be the CEO your business requires of you. And that was the first decision for me. I was like, I need to start acting as that person. I need to start stepping up and not actually just petering to my emotions and being like, oh, I can't be bothered doing that today. And so I'm not saying that as a judgment, but that was honestly the conversation I was having with myself of like, oh, I would go weeks on end by doing all these things and being busy, and then realizing that I wasn't prioritizing growth-focused activities, or I wasn't prioritizing things that scared me. And when I started doing that and I started seeing myself as that boss in the business, it wasn't about telling other people what to do. It was actually telling myself what to do first. It was like, what is the discipline you need to create in order to be that person that is naturally that person? Because that's all we are. We're just made up people of habits and repeated patterns. So sometimes whenever I have a client or someone will say to me like, oh, that's just not really who I am, or that's just, not my personality, or things like that. And I'm like, no, that's not what it is. Like, you have built up amount of different habits and disciplines and personality traits and repeated patterns of strategies that your brain plays where you do certain things that you feel like have become part of your personality, but I guarantee you they're just repeated patterns. That's all it is. It's just you've done it so many times that it feels like it's just part of who you are. But you can change that. The best part about being a human is that you can change. That's it. Like, you get to change. You're always changing. So how are you changing? Are you changing into habits and staying repetitive in that routine of doing the same thing all the time and then being unhappy with your results? Because if that's the case, it's time to make a bigger change. It's time to create new habits. It's time to choose what those new disciplines are going to be and start acting as if until they become the new part of your personality, right? That's all it is. And so, okay, so that's the first part. So getting really clear on the vision, determining who that CEO is that the business really requires, starting to determine what are those regular habits that you need to be doing on a regular basis, and start building them into your business, start building them into your weekly habits in order for you to become that version of yourself. which obviously with those habits are things like the decisions and how you make decisions in your business, the goals and how clearly you have articulated your goals and how you build your actions into your business, into your schedule to achieve those goals, and how you review those goals, right? That is part of the CEO role. When I think about a CEO in a corporate company, they're not ignoring the data. They need the data to tell them the next piece of the direction, right? They look at the data to be like, what's working, what's not working. And so if you start treating your business like an incredible company that is thriving, that you need to be paying attention to every part of it, you will start acting as a CEO. So the same thing with like recently I had a challenge where I was like not getting certain things done, and I realized that I had dropped some of the communication with my team. So previously we're doing more regular meetings, and I was making sure that I had a habit in my calendar where I would go through everything that was in ClickUp and comment and send emails and go through everything that they would need to go through in order for them to execute well in their role. And I've been really busy with trying to get the book out that I actually skipped one of the meetings, and then I hadn't actually built it. I hadn't gone back to that habit. And so that was me being a bad CEO, right? I'm the one leading the ship. I've got to come back to the habits that serve the growth of the business. And that was a key one that made such a big difference. And so we got behind. So they were waiting on certain things from me. They were waiting on me to get back to certain comments so they could continue to do work. And that was really a problem. So I needed to go back to getting much better with that. And so once I did, not only did I feel much more in control of what was happening, but they also felt better within their role because they were like, great, we can keep working and love that you love what we're doing. So that CEO piece is not just about being the boss babe, it's actually looking at your business as a company and being like, what does the company need in order for it to continue to thrive? And so then you then play different parts of the roles within that company. So yes, you're the CEO. Some days you're the operator. Some days you're the employee. And so you then want to ask, how well am I doing there? And so you're measuring your own success there and acknowledging what needs to change in order for you to grow and scale. That then brings me to the energy side. For you to step into your embodied CEO, not only do you need to first have that perception shift of actually seeing yourself as a leader, actually seeing yourself as the CEO of your business, but then you need to look at, how do I keep myself in my own zone of genius in a more consistent way? And then how do I manage my energy to support the growth of the company? Your energy is a huge piece. And I'm not just talking about your energy as in like how energized I feel for the day. I'm talking about your energy alignment, because when your energy alignment is out, you don't make great decisions. You make decisions from a place of desperation or scarcity or stress, and that does not drive the business well. It does not serve the company in the long run. So coming back to your energy alignment on a regular basis, I feel is a huge part in order for you to feel embodied. The reason why I feel like I can consistently motivate myself and think about what the business needs, and I'm creating new things and having that creative space, I believe is my energy alignment, how I take care of myself from week to week and how I don't get sick. I honestly am managing my mindset on a regular basis. I'm doing energy alignment work on a regular basis in order for me to feel in alignment with where I'm going. I'm paying attention to the nods from the universe. I'm paying attention to my resistance in my own body. So if there's anything that comes up that I feel uncomfortable with, where I'm like, oh, there's resistance there, or I'm not taking action in a certain part of my business, I'm like, hang on, let's pause. What's happening over here? Pay attention here. You're out of alignment. And that's what I feel like helps serve the growth of my business again and again and again. And it helps me exceed and execute in an effective way in the long run, right? So that I can get to a certain part of the year and be like, wow, I'm so proud of everything that I've achieved so far. And I've achieved so much because of my energy alignment, because I'm not pushing. I'm not creating from a place of have to or should. I'm creating from a place of enjoyment and fun and service, right? I'm coming back to my ideal client and thinking, what do they really need and how can I serve them in a more empowered way? How can I serve them and from a different place? What are they looking for? What's the market asking for? I'm taking that time. And I think that one of the things that is a challenge in this stage of business is managing that, because you can get really, really busy and then you start to sacrifice in different areas of your life that actually serve the growth of your business. So for me, it's my movement, and for me, it's my energy alignment work. So doing my mindset work in the morning, my meditation, my visualizations, my scripting, it's getting out into nature and choosing downtime and scheduling that downtime in and fulfilling my cup serves the growth of my business. I'm not a great coach if I'm not in alignment. And I feel like I just need to say this, it's irrelevant what I do, right? As a coach, Yes, I do a lot of energy work. Yes, I do a lot of mindset work with my clients. So I do need to be conscious of taking care of myself to be the best coach, 100%. Separately to that, I also need to do that for my business. Because if you're making decisions from an unaligned place or from a place of rush or from a place of stress, that the impact of that decision will be felt in 3 months or 6 months or 12 months time. It's hard to know at the time when you're making the decision, but then down the track, you're like, yeah, that's what impacted that. So this is where I see like some people get to the point where they're like out of alignment for months and months and months, and they make decisions from a place of being out of alignment. And then it's like becomes like a snowball effect, and it's the momentum's already begun in the opposite direction of where they really want to go. And it's usually because they were unclear or they weren't paying attention to the fact that they were out of alignment and they were doing business from a place of have to or push or should. So if that's you, it's time to get back into alignment and start to work on the embodied piece of being that CEO that you really want to be. So if you feel called to be a part of the CEO week, then come and join me. It's going to be so fun, and it's going to be practical, and it's going to be simple. I'm not going to complicate this. I'm going to give you specific steps to take, and I'm going to call you forward by speaking to your soul and asking you to really think about things in a different way. So the Embodied CEO Week is happening inside the private broadcast channel, which you'll find on Instagram through my profile. So check that out. Come and join me. And then the Next Level Mastermind is opening its doors. So we are starting in the next round of the Next Level Mastermind happening in June. So if you'd like more information, check out the link in the show notes. All right, lovely. Enjoy the rest of your week, and I'll speak to you really soon. Thank you for listening, and if you found any value out of this episode, make sure you hit the follow button so you get access to the episodes as soon as they are live, and make sure you come hang out with me on Instagram. You can find me at ChristineCorcoran_coach. Have an incredible week.